Our scenario revolves around Ellison Preschool. This preschool has children between the ages of 3 and 5 years old, and in total there are 200 children there. 150 of these kids receive special education services. 50 of those get speech services, and 25 of those are completely nonverbal, and 20 of those have no form of communication at this point. Overall, the school has about 20 classrooms that each have teachers and teachers' aides within them and multiple parent volunteers that help out with the school. The school also has a principal and a BCBA already on staff. The main reason that there is a need for an intervention at this school is because there has been an excessive amount of fighting between all of the students. One reason for all of this could be because of the lack of functional communication for many of these students. Like we have noted above, a lot of these students don't have forms of communication that are appropriate for their age, so this could be leading to fighting between them. And a second reason for this fighting could be a lack of appropriate models, showing correct play scenarios and how to treat others. So we think those are two big reasons why these fighting scenarios are happening between the kids, and hopefully the interventions will be able to step in and decrease this. So some of the past research has really looked into the interventions that we are talking about. Current research has shown that social stories can be very effective in an intervention to model and show preschoolers exactly how they should act in situations such as play scenarios. So using these right before you're going into these situations can really kind of increase the ability that they are going to engage in appropriate play. On top of that, PECS has also been widely implemented across a bunch of different scenarios in order to improve functional communication. And this has a wide range of abilities that's really shown to really increase a student's ability to communicate and therefore a lot of times decrease these potential bad problematic behaviors.
Steps for implementation. The Picture Exchange System, also known as PECS. PECS allows students to communicate their wants, needs, thoughts, etc. by exchanging pictures. There are a total of 6 phases of PECS. Phase 1, how to communicate. Phase 2, distance and persistence. Phase 3, picture discrimination. Phase 4, sentence structure. Phase 5, responsive requesting. And Phase 6, commenting. But for the purpose of Ellison School, we will only be utilizing phases 1 through 3. For social stories allow students to understand meaningful information using a short story with corresponding illustrations. It will be used to help students understand how to appropriately play and share toys within their classroom with their classmates during free time. Implementation of the picture exchange system. First, we will decide which students in the classroom will utilize PECS. Once that is decided on, we will then determine which items, activities, or toys those children gravitate toward the most within the classroom during their free time. Also, if there is any specific toys or activities that may be causing the problem behavior. Students will be taught PECS in a one-to-one setting with a speech pathologist who is working at the school. First, learners will be taught to exchange single pictures for wanted items or activities. Then, students will be prompted with another individual acting as the prompter to pull the picture of the desired item off of the Velcro and hand it to the communicator. Once student gives picture to the communicator, the child will then immediately receive the item in the picture. This is repeated until the child masters the skill of exchanging pictures for wanted items. Once a child has mastered the use of PECS, it will then be generalized into a classroom with other students. Implementation of social stories. Social stories will be used to target how to play and share appropriately with their peers during free time in the classroom. First, an audience for social stories is determined based on which students would benefit the most from this intervention. Second, we will create this text or short story explaining step by step how to play and share appropriately in a way that the students will understand. An example of this will be shown later on in the presentation. Third, a BCBA and a behaviorist will read over and explain illustrations with students one-to-one prior to free time when sharing and playing will occur. Materials needed. For the picture exchange system, you will need a binder, laminated pictures of the desired items that you have taken pictures of, Velcro, and a data collection sheet. For social stories, you will need a laminated paper that includes text explaining how to play and share appropriately with peers. You will need illustrations or pictures that correspond with the written text, and you will also need a data collection sheet.
How does this address the need? These interventions will address the problem behavior at Ellison School by focusing on appropriate communication with peers. PECS will allow students to appropriately request wanted items from their peers rather than taking or grabbing the item from a peer, while social stories will help children understand how to appropriately be interacting socially with their peers during playtime.
Brief overview of plan. First, determine what intervention is appropriate for each student, PECs or social stories. Then establish individual goals for each student. And then next you need to develop materials. So for PECs, this would be making icons of the student's most preferred toys or items, which can be determined by conducting a preference assessment. And then for social stories, the materials you need are social narratives with illustrations. Both interventions will be taught in a one-to-one setting. PECs will be taught to students by a speech-language pathologist, and a BCBA and psychologist will review social stories with the students. Once students learn how to use the interventions in the one-to-one setting, both PECs and social stories will be used regularly in the class. Professional development. Along with the initial trainings for PECs and social stories, there will be other individual and group activities to improve implementation of the two interventions. Implementation skills will be practiced using role playing. So for PECs, each staff member will practice being the communicator, communication partner, and prompter. For social stories, staff will work with other staff members and a BCBA to show they know how to properly use a social story as an intervention and to practice how to read them with students. Additional trainings will be implemented as needed.